So starting this morning in a reclined position, you can find a reclined position with something that is supporting you underneath the shoulder blades and the head, like these blocks. And that block in the middle goes right in between the shoulder blades, so that you have the whole shoulder blade supported. And then the other block under the head, but you could just as easily use a bolster or cushion to lie back on, just so you have a little bit of lift in the chest, starting in a supported back bend. So make sure that, especially if you're using blocks, that you play around a little bit and adjust, and make sure that it's not cutting in too low under the ribs. You have enough support, but that it's also not up by your neck, because that doesn't feel comfortable. And for the most gentle position, the soles of the feet would be on the floor with the knees pointing up to the sky. But if you want to get some hip stretch in, first thing, and you bring the soles of the feet together, the knees drop open to the side for Supta Baddha Konasana. And once you're there, you just settle yourself into your shape. Just take a moment to observe your surroundings. You can use your senses and take in all of the sounds and the scents around you. Feeling the temperature of the air on your skin. And hearing the soft sound that the breath makes as it flows in and out through your nose. That sensation of breath as it gently moves into the body. And as it flows back out. If you happen to find yourself outside this morning, take just a few extra moments to observe the variety of the elements that are around you. We are made up of those elements. They correspond to different organs, different feelings and emotions. And so we are very linked to these elements. Earth, giving us that safety and security, grounded. Water, allowing us to be flowing and moving through life with that ease as water flows, so shall we. Water is also part of our emotional body. Fire, if you are feeling the sun on your skin, there's a real sensation of the fire, but also there at your solar plexus, space of fire. It's where we get stuff done. What do you burn for? The air elements, light and free. And then ether, that more mystical, invisible, sweet element moving up towards the heavens. And that element of ether is part of the energy of throat. So starting to create a sound in your throat of Ujjayi breath. On the inhalations, you slightly constrict the muscles, like you're sipping the breath in through a straw as you breathe in through your nose. Sound of the ocean in the throat. As you exhale, continuing that slight contraction of the muscles of the glottis as you take the breath back out, emptying, soft sound of the ocean. Continuing for a few more moments, massaging the space of the throat, the thyroid, the master glands on the body. Also, that sound is soothing, relaxing. This gentle back bend, the throat is a little bit more open, so really feeling energy flowing in and out through that space. Open space of the heart. By the way, that is the part of the body that is associated with the air element. Heart space free and open. In the open space of the solar plexus, element of fire. Space between the pubic bone and the navel, the hips, a flowing element of water, emotions, feelings, things that we are passionate about. And then the legs relaxing, supported by the earth, knees falling towards the ground. Soles of the feet gently pressing together for that continuation of groundedness, element of earth. All of these things in our bodies and our psyche interact with each other. There is no separation as they blend and influence. And what we're looking for is balance in all of these things. Just a few more moments of this Ujjayi breath at the throat, sipping the breath in like you're breathing through a straw. Drink in that sweetness of the air around you. And as you exhale, that same soft ocean sound. Ujjayi breath, victorious breath. Soften into your shape. These supported or restorative poses can be held for a longer period of time. Allow yourself to feel supported, open, and free. Now begin to slide the arms up and overhead. And if you can, reach for opposite elbows. If you're on blocks, the arms might be suspended a couple inches above the earth. If that feels too intense in the shoulders, just drop back into a goalpost shape, taking the arms out to the side, bent elbow to wherever feels like a sustainable place to open deeper across the pectorals, into the rotators, into the shoulder joint. So you don't want to strain here. Allow that to feel really good wherever you find yourself. See if you can soften the shoulder blades even more into whatever is supporting them. This creates a bit of intensity in the shoulders, so remember to adjust if it feels like too much. And then release if you're holding the elbows, and just take the arms out to straight, backs of the hands on the ground. Again, remember, a bend in the elbows might be necessary, so you don't want to strain. But if the arms are straight, feeling that stretch, up the length of the sideways into the armpits. And then slowly begin to bend the elbows if they're straight. Bring the arms down by the sides, let the backs of the hands, backs of the forearms rest on the earth, and just take that time to soften, let go. And while the arms and shoulders are softening, 3 cleansing breaths. Fill yourself all the way up. Open mouth, exhale, sigh it out. If you want to open the mouth and stick the tongue out, stretch the jaw, go ahead and do that. It feels pretty good. As you inhale, filling yourself with breath. And you exhale, open the mouth, empty, make some noise. One more time, filling up. And emptying out, let it go. If the knees are out to the side, squeeze them together, put the feet on the ground, and bring the hips to that neutral position. Take a couple breaths there. You want to give the body time to readjust in its neutral position. Softening the femurs down towards the hip sockets. And now rolling off of your blocks and onto a side. And just curl up in fetal position for a few moments. So you're just softening towards the earth, taking that opposite position for the spine. Stay as long as you need. And when you're ready, pressing yourself up. Come on up to hands and knees, and then you can move any props that you have for the moment. Just move those out of the way. And coming onto hands and knees, remember to use a blanket to pad your knees if you feel sensitive. And then moving into some rounds of cat and cow. Drop the belly, lift the tail, lift the chest as you inhale. And when you exhale, press into the palms and round. And just move through those 2 positions, following the rhythm of your breath. And completing the round that you're on and making your way into table position. And start to take that movement side to side. So you're going to look over your right shoulder towards your right hip and center, and same over the left shoulder and center, just moving back and forth. And complete the round that you're on and come back to center. And now in the center position, you're going to stretch your right leg straight back. And once the right leg is extending back, take some circles through the foot and the ankle. You're just circling around in one direction, loosening up there at the joint. And then do the opposite circles. Should feel pretty good. You can feel that all the way up into the calf and the shin. And then come back to stillness, press through the sole of your foot and really lengthen right out at hips height. Draw the belly in and up. You're going to inhale and find that lengthening back. As you exhale, pull knee to nose. And continue to flow, inhaling, stretching back, and exhaling, pulling in round. Do that one more time. Really activating the back of the leg as you press through the sole of the foot, and then activating abdominals as you pull in and up. And stretching the leg back out, and now you're going to be taking that out to the side. So really strengthen up there at the core, breathe in. As you exhale, sweeping the leg forward. And just swing through, so you're not trying to really muscle this at the hip joint, you're just swinging. And then the muscles on the outer glutes and then the back of the leg as you go back really start to kick up. The more still that you can stay through the rest of your body, the more your core taps in to stabilize. Let's do that 1 or 2 more times. And stretching back, lengthening back, lower the right knee down and take child's pose. So really sweep the arms back so that your wrists can rest, your shoulders can cascade forward. And bringing the arms forward, rising back up to hands and knees, and setting up for the opposite side. And so first stretching back through the left foot, just pressing back, and then start those rotations at the ankle. And go the opposite way. And pressing back through the sole of the foot, activating that back chain of the body, but the belly stays nice and strong as well. Inhale, get long. Exhale, pull in, knee to nose. Inhaling, lengthening. Exhale, pulling in. And the next time that you sweep back, stay there, lengthening back. Breathe in, stay really strong, push the ground away, and as you exhale, sweep forward. So you're swinging through right there at the hip joint. This gets those outer glutes really strong, the ones that wrap around on the side and help to stabilize things. Also, you can start to feel that really heating up in the core. And one more time. Sweeping back and then lowering knee to the ground. Take the knees together, variation of child's pose, so you can really sweep the arms back, softening shoulders, whole backside shoulder blades releasing as the forehead meets the ground. And go ahead and bring yourself back up. and now extending back through the right leg, you're going to bend at the knee and point the toe. On your inhalation, lift up. On your exhalation, pull knee to nose, drawing in. So again, you're swinging, really loosening at the joint. And then the muscles that are working to stabilize that get nice and strong, but you want to stay loose at the hip. Just swinging through. And the next time that you come up, stay up, and you have the option to just hold here, or working on balance, reach the left hand back, see if you can catch foot or ankle, gently pressing foot, ankle into left hand. So you're getting a big stretch in the quadricep muscles, right leg, and rotator cuff, left arm, shoulder. Softening, releasing back down, big toes together, knees wide, child's pose. Take your hands over to the right. Option to stack left on top of right, getting side stretch, left side body. Come back to center, take a breath. And then walking yourself back up. All right, other side, extending left leg back and pointing at the toe. On your inhalation, lift the leg, lift the chest. On your exhalation, pull in, knee to nose, and continue to swing through. So I love these mobility poses as we're thinking about the elements, particularly the ones we're working on. Really tapping into all of the things, right? We've got the grounding through the legs, and one more time. And then lifting up. You have the option to just hold here or reach back. So we got a nice opening happening here through the hips. Stabilizing through that fire center of the core. Our will to stay for just a couple more breaths. The swinging, the lightness, tapping into that air element. And go ahead and release back down. And then that surrender into the sweetness as you take the knees apart, soften down towards the earth, surrendering here into child's pose. Walking the hands over to the left, option to stack right hand on top of left. Come on back to center. Take a breath, center. And then starting to walk back up. All right, moving into some lunging. So you can use your blocks at the front of your mat for extra support if you use blocks, placing them here. Actually, Penny, I'll put you in the front. Here we go. So they can be flat or up depending on how you feel, or you can have your hands just on the mat. And then bringing the right foot forward between the hands, sliding left knee back. Just feeling your way into the left side hip flexors. Keep the spine nice and long, strong through the belly, pelvic floor muscles lift. And beginning to move into rocking half split. You're going to shift the hips back as you straighten out the right leg, and then return to the lunge position, and you're just moving back and forth, just flowing back and forth. Starting to move into any tightness that you're feeling in the hamstrings on the right side. And with this gentle dynamic movement, it's like massaging out that tension. At least that's what I like to tell myself. All right, the next time that you come into the extended position, stay. Press your hand firmly, left hand firmly into the block or the ground. Try to keep the right hip dropping down. In fact, take your right hand to your right hip and just gently press it down as you rotate through the right shoulder. So you're rotating to the right, and you have the option to keep your hand right on the hip, or you could lift it up towards the sky. Try to keep the right hip dropping down. Breathe in. As you exhale, right hand down, return to your lunge, and then walking the right hands to the right thigh. So now you're a little bit more upright, lifting up through the pelvic floor. Try not to do this. Instead, pull back and up so you're getting strength here in the lower abdominals, reaching the arms up. Take a big breath in. And as you exhale, bring your hands to your heart center, and you're going to rotate to the right. And just do that a couple times. Come back to center on inhalation. On exhalation, rotate to the right. Inhaling center. Exhale, rotate. And one more time, and this time you're going to stay rotated, and you have the option to hook the right elbow, the left elbow outside the right knee for a deeper twist. Come back to center, breathe in. As you exhale, hands come down, And press into the hands, draw the belly in and up to shift the hips slowly back, bringing the right knee back, and take time in child's pose. If you have blocks, hands can stay there or they can rest on the ground. Rising back up now, preparing for the left side. Bringing the left foot forward between the hands or the blocks. Sliding the right knee back. Spine is long. Breathing, opening. Now front of the right hip. And beginning to move into that rocking half split. So shifting the hips back as the left toes lift, and then melting the heart forward. And continuing to flow. And to open up space in the back of the left leg. And the next time that you come into extension, stay there, pressing firmly into right palm, and bringing the left hand to the left hip, encouraging left hip to stay down as you rotate now through the left shoulder. Option to stay here or reaching up. Breathing in, and as you exhale, lowering the hand down, bending at the front knee, and bringing the hands to the heart center, really strong through the lower abdominals, pelvic floor. Hips now stacked over the back knee, beginning that dynamic movement, rotating. Inhaling center, exhale into the twist. Next time that you rotate, stay, and you can stay right here or dip forward, hooking the right elbow outside left knee and pressing hands to the heart for a deeper sensation in the twist. Coming back to center now, and bringing hands down. Shifting the hips back and settling in for child's pose. Returning to hands and knees and finding your way into tabletop. And planting the hands firmly and preparing to revisit that swinging leg hip stretch. So extending back through the right leg, nice and strong, belly is strong. And this time you're going to have the option to create a little bit more strength and balance by reaching the left arm forward. So if that doesn't feel stable enough, return the left hand to the ground. And now inhaling, getting long. As you exhale, sweeping out to the side. And continue to flow. Maybe feeling a little bit more loose and free in the hips now. And the next time that you come out to the side, stay there, planting the right foot down, reaching the left arm up. So really finding that extension, opening through left side pectoral, breathe in. And as you exhale, thread the needle, left arm under the right, temple down, left temple down to the floor, pressing into the right palm, finding the twist. You can stay here in this more grounded position or reach the right arm up to the sky. And if you want to add a fun element, tapping into the sensation of ether, then bringing the fingers into a concentration mudra, joining the index finger and thumb, and the left hand lifts off of the ground. Just an option. Breathing in, and as you exhale, hands soften to the ground, slide on through. And bringing the right knee in and taking some circles through the hips. Just enjoying a little movement there. And return to center, preparing for the opposite side. Pressing back through the left foot, really getting strong through the center, through the back of the leg. Pressing firmly through the left hand if you choose to extend the right arm forward. Breathing in, and as you exhale, sweeping out to the side and continuing to flow. Nice and loose, easy and free in the hips and the shoulder. And the next time that you come out to the side, stay there, planting left foot on the ground, reaching the right arm up, really opening up through that right side pectoral. Breathe in. As you exhale, threading underneath. And pressing into left palm to rotate deeper into the twist. You have that option to extend the left fingertips up. And then perhaps adding the mudra, index and thumb come together, creating that circle as you press into right side elbow, lifting the right fingers up to the sky. Breathing in, and as you exhale, softening back to the ground, slide on through, coming back to center. And this time maybe you'd like to do some release through the rib cage, so rotating the ribs around in one direction, and then taking the opposite side. Coming back to center, cleansing breath, breathing in. Exhale, sigh it out. And then making your way into downward facing puppy. Coming into puppy pose, extend the arms forward, stretch the chest back towards the thighs. Just feeling the length through both sides of the waist. Nice opening for shoulders, the whole spine. And walking back up. And taking that cleansing breath, this time lion's breath, sticking the tongue out, making that sound in the back of the throat. Breathe in. Exhale with a lion's breath. So second round, choice for puppy pose or downward facing dog. If you're taking dog pose, curl the toes under, lift the hips up and back, and then take some movement through the knees. It should feel good for opening up ankles and calves. When you feel ready for stillness, let both knees softly bend and pressing chest back towards the thighs. Belly is strong, tailbone lifting up. Now dropping left heel to the mat, extend the right leg up, pointing the toe, and bending at the right knee. So if you stay here, you're going to feel a nice stretch in your right side quadricep. You can also add in stretch in the hip and the pelvis if you rotate right hip to stack on top of left. Shoulders stay square to the front of the mat. You're feeling this all the way into right inner thigh. Rotate back to center, lifting, stretching right toes, and bringing the right foot down. On your inhalation, you stretch back. On your exhalation, lowering knees down to the mat, taking child's pose. Maybe you'd like to stack the hands for a little extra lift through the head. Soften in. Making your way back up and returning to either puppy pose or downward facing dog. Finding your stillness. And dropping the right heel down to the mat, extending left toes up to the sky. Bending at the left knee. Feel that space in the quadricep muscles all the way up into the hip flexors. And then stacking the left hip on top of the right, spinning left knee to the sky. Feeling that stretch shifting into hip, inner thigh muscles. Square the pelvis now, extend the leg long, breathe in. And the foot comes down to the mat, knees to the mat, taking child's pose. Got a little extra work on the triceps. Maybe you'd like to move the elbows forward. Put the hands in prayer position, which will also help you tap back into the reverence of the ether element. Softening the forehead down, thumbs come to the back of the neck. Releasing the hands back down now, returning to all fours. And moving into another quadricep, tapping back into a pose that we've already worked on earlier today. So stretching back from tabletop, right leg. And then bending here at the knee and reaching with the left hand to catch foot or ankle. So if you can't catch, that's okay. Just reach in that direction, or hand can stay on the floor like this. If you're holding the foot or the ankle, maybe you go a little bit bigger into the back bend, pointing toes to the sky, opening through left side pectoral. Breathing in. And releasing, bringing the right knee back down, spin the right shin off of your mat, planting through left foot, reaching up, modified side plank. Strong through the right shoulder. Good. And now take that mudra, bringing the thumb and the first finger together, and sweep the arm out and overhead. You're gonna take some dynamic movement here. Inhaling, reaching up. Exhale, reaching out. Feeling that big space and stretch through left side rib cage. And the next time that you reach up, spread the fingers wide, maybe even wiggle. Good. And then returning to center. Taking a breath. Good. Extending back through the left leg, pressing through the sole of the foot. Tap into that strength at your center. Bending at the knee, pointing the toe, stretching back. Taking the modification if you need, or going a little bit bigger into this back bend. Pointing toe to the sky, lifting the chest. Breathing in, and as you release, left knee comes down, spinning shin back, extending out through right leg, reaching up. Finding the mudra, and arm extends overhead, taking dynamic movement, inhaling up and exhaling over. And the next time that you reach up, spread the fingers wide, breathing in, and bringing the hand back down to the ground. cleansing lion's breath. Now moving into hero's pose. So make sure that you have enough support. You can either sit back onto the heels, but if that feels straining on the knees in any way, then you're going to keep the knees together and the feet apart and use the block under your seat. Making sure that that feels good in the knees, because we'll be here for a few minutes working on some shoulder opening. And so first, take a little bit of movement through the fingers. That was a lot of work on the wrists. So you can take the palms to face up, fingers pointing towards each other, just to get that extra stretch in the wrists. And then turn so the fingers point towards the body. And circling a little bit here through the wrists one direction and then the other. There's another nice way to open wrists and shoulders. You interlace the fingers and press the palms away. And on the inhalation, lifting up through the arms. And on the exhalation, you can round back through the shoulders like a cat stretch. Continue to flow, inhaling up. And exhale, rounding back. And do that one more time. And sweeping the arms down by the sides. Good. Now bringing the right arm across, you're going to hook the left elbow, soften right shoulder away from the ear. So you don't want that hunching up, you want the shoulder to stay down so that you're stretching behind the shoulder blade and not getting and adding more tension to right shoulder. Breathing, softening in. Releasing that now. Take a moment to pause, hands in the lap. Good, and now opposite side. So reaching the left arm across, hooking the right elbow, soften left shoulder down. Releasing now, and resting palms facing up on the lap. Let the shoulders soften, wrists soften, and returning to that sensation of Ujjayi breath. Gentle sound of the ocean in the back of the throat. Extending the right fingers up. You're going to bring the right fingers to the right shoulder blade. Nice extension through right side tricep. And the left arm is going to come behind the back, but you are not reaching for clasping at the hands. So it looks like this. Just wrapping the left arm at the waist. Now it's a small movement as you gently bring the right elbow over to the left. So you're opening up here through right side rib cage, right shoulder. Slowly coming and returning to center, unwrapping the left arm, reaching for right elbow, and gently extending it a little bit more fully towards the sky, stretching now right side triceps. Soften and release. Taking the opposite side, extending the left arm up, bringing the fingertips to the left shoulder blade. And bringing the right arm behind. Make sure that that rests right at the waist. So we're not trying to strain, just creating some space in the right side rotators and the left side tricep. Now as you enter to the side stretch, remember that's nice and gentle. Left elbow stretches over to the right. You can feel that spaciousness between each rib on the left side. And even using your breath to help to open that space as you inhale more fully into left side ribs. And coming back to center, releasing the right arm, bringing right fingers to the left elbow, opening more fully into left side tricep. And releasing now, hands come to the lap, taking a moment to pause. Left hand on the bottom, right hand on top with the palms facing up. And then connecting the thumbs in a grounding mudra. Feel the energy rooting down through the sits bones. Coming up and off of the knees, you can set your block off to the side if you're using one. And then because we had a longer sit in hero's pose, just releasing behind the knees gently. First rocking back through the right heel. And then through the left. Nice and easy, just loosening the space behind the knees. Now swinging the legs to a side, dropping the hip to the ground and coming around for bridge pose. Lowering onto the back. And bringing the heels in close to the body. Arms are alongside. Pressing down into the feet and lifting the hips nice and high. Walking the shoulders under the back. Interlace your fingers. And then walk under again so you're high on the tips of your shoulder blades. Lifting pelvis high, tapping into the strength in the backs of your legs. Breathing deeply. This is a nice place to notice that you naturally have an expression of Jalandhara Bandha, or the chin lock, as the chin moves closer to the chest naturally. You're not trying to press the chin down. In fact, you're trying to lift the chest to meet the chin as you breathe in. And separating the hands now, rolling back down, taking the resting position, feet as wide as the mat, and the knees drop together. As you're resting here, if your body feels like it has had enough really strong activity, this would be the time to move into supported bridge using a block or a bolster under the sacrum, so you maintain a gentle lift of the hips but with very little effort. I'm going to be offering a second round of bridge, and this time with a single leg lift, one on each side. So only moving into that more challenging strength-based pose if your body feels absolutely calling for this energizing work, and if you're coming from a place of strength. Moving the heels close to the body, pressing down into the feet, lifting the hips and walking the shoulders underneath. Interlace your fingers and make sure you're high on the tips of the shoulder blades. You're going to lift to the balls of your feet so the hips lift very high, tapping down into that strength, extending the right leg up to the sky. Hips stay lifted, hips are even. Breathing in, lifting up, and then bringing the right foot down. Reestablish that evenness in the hips, and then taking the opposite side. Slowly lowering the left foot down. Press evenly into the balls of the feet. Lift the hips high, unlacing the fingers, and slowly lowering down, one vertebra at a time. Feet wide, knees drop together, taking that moment to rest. And separating the knees now, and very slowly bringing the knees in towards the belly. You can circle the knees around in one direction and then the other, making sure that you have a good release in your lower back. And then you can come into Apanasana, hugging knees into the chest. Feel that lengthening through the sacral area, breathing deeply into the space of the hips and the pelvis. The inhalations feel like they inflate the space of the hips, and the exhalation, energy comes back together at the root. From here, bringing the sole of the right foot down to the floor and hugging the left knee in towards the belly. And similar to Baddha Konasana, you're going to let the right knee drop open to the side. If this feels good and you have a gentle stretch in that outer right thigh, you can bring the left hand to gently reach for the top of the right foot. And that will deepen the stretch and sensation in the outer right thigh, IT band. If that feels straining in any way, just release the hold on the foot and just keep the knee gently out to the side. Breathe into any tightness that you're feeling on the outer right thigh. And releasing the left hand from the right foot and the sole of the right foot to the ground. And then just feeling that nice energy, release of tension from the outer right thigh. And you'll probably feel that all the way up into the hip as well. Bringing the right knee in, hugging in for Apanasana. Breathe into the lower part of your body. Bringing the sole of the left foot down to the ground. Right knee stays hugging in. And dropping the left knee out to the side. Take a moment to settle in there. This might be enough. If you feel like you want more, reaching for the right hand, you have to wiggle the left foot a little closer. And then this should be a softening of the knee to the ground. Never forcing, never pushing. Just softening left knee so it comes closer to the earth. Softly releasing the foot if you're holding, and bring the sole of the left foot back to the ground. Take a few moments just to settle in that neutral position for the hip. Now bringing the left knee back in, gently squeezing Apanasana. Big inhale. Open mouth, exhale, let it go. Now moving into happy baby pose. Separate the knees a little, bring the hands behind the knees and the soles of the feet up to the sky. This might be right where you stay. Or hands could rest at the calves, the ankles, or the edges of the feet. So holding on to whatever you can hold on to, and then beginning to rock. Just a nice final release for the hips. Should feel really good on lower back. Massaging out that space. Coming back to center, and then releasing the edges of the feet. Bring the knees to the belly, wrapping arms around shins. Deep inhale. Open mouth, exhale, sigh it out. Taking the arms out at shoulder height with the palms facing down and stacking the knees over the hips, feet are flexing. Moving into spinal twist. You're going to breathe in, and as you exhale, taking the knees over to the left, but hover the knees 1 inch off the ground. Using the palms facing down to either grip the floor, or if you're like me, you can hold the grass to make sure that the right shoulder stays flat on the earth. As you get this last tapping into your fire element, feeling that strong compression and heat right there at the core center. And then releasing the knees all the way down. Turn the palms to face up and gently turn your head to the right for spinal twist. Surrendering in completely now. Head to center, bringing knees to center, and hugging knees into the chest. Taking the arms out to the side, palms facing down. Stacking the knees over the hips, feet are flexed, breathe in. As you exhale, knees over to the right, but hover 1 inch off the ground. Really making sure the left shoulder stays down. So you're strongly contracting through the abdominals. Nice little squeeze for the liver. Cleansing action. Feel that lengthening the lower back muscles. And then softening the knees all the way down as you turn the palms to face up, coming into spinal twist. Surrendering completely now. And bringing the head center, bringing the knees center. One more time, arms wrap. Nice tight squeeze as you inhale, bringing forehead to the knees. Hold the breath. And exhale, releasing out, making your way into Shavasana. So as you come into your Shavasana, making sure that you feel that complete surrender, body into the earth. And you'll want to maybe place something under your knees, under the head, so that you can have a full and complete release. And taking a moment to set yourself up so that you can let go completely. As hard as you worked in the physical portion of practice today, now you put equal effort into letting go. Release from the need to do, and let yourself become a state of undoing. Breath is letting go. Breath undoing. Body is letting go. Body undoing. The mind is letting go. The mind undoing. Surrendering now completely as the earth holds you. Body expanding into the space around you. As you expand, feel yourself taking up more and more space. Let it all go. And let yourself rest. Slowly starting to bring awareness back to body and back to breath. Feel your body surrendered completely into the earth. Earth element supporting you in your practice and in your life. Feel the gentle energy circulating in the space of the pelvis and the hips. Water element, your ability to go with the flow and tap into passion, pleasure, and joy. Feel that open space at the belly, a fire gently burning right there at the space of the belly. That fire of your will, your ability to get things done. The things that you burn for become realized. And that energy and heat rises up to the space of the heart. where you feel light and open and free, joy and gratitude circulating. That lightness rises into the space of the throat, and this is where you manifest. When you feel that stability and security, you find your passion, you have the will to create. You wash that through the space of compassion and love, and then it comes out through your words, your ability to speak your truth so that you can manifest into the world all that you want to do and create. Take a deep inhale. Big exhale, let it go. Beginning to move slowly through toes and fingers. Circling wrists and ankles, blood flowing again into the arms and the legs as you reach overhead and stretch. Turning the arms to the sides, bending at the knees and rolling to a side. Spend a few moments curled up there. Softening into self. And pressing the palms into the earth, tapping back into strength as you rise on up to sit. Coming to your grounded and comfortable seat. And take a deep breath in. Exhale, sighing out. Breathing in. Sighing out. And inhaling to our Om. Element of ether expresses at the throat, feeling that vibration of sound and energy from your Om. And bringing hands together at heart center. And take a moment of gratitude for this practice that balances the elements that we hold in our body, our mind, and our spirit, so that we can go forth balanced, place of equanimity, harmony, and peace. Namaste.